Hey guys, it's Ellen. Long time no see. Sorry about that. I've had a lot of stuff going on in life and I'm actually moving today. After I film this video, I am moving about 2 hours away, and so my videos will be coming from a different bookcase in a different place. So get ready for that, but there will still be videos. This video is going to be a wrap-up for the month of August. I got a lot of reading done this month because at the beginning of the month I was on vacation for 2 weeks, which was awesome. I was at the beach and I was able to read a whole lot, and during that time period the BookTubeathon actually happened, and so that was really exciting. I will wrap up the BookTubeathon as well in this video. So these are the books that I actually read for the BookTubeathon. I think there's one other that I had to give back to the coworker who lent it to me, and that was Splintered by A.G. Howard, I believe. I'll talk more about that. So I read Splintered by A.G. Howard for the first book in the BookTubeathon, and that was the one that fulfilled something with a blue on the cover. There's a cover with a girl on it, there's forests all around her, and there are blue butterflies. So I finished that book because I had blue on the cover, and it was really interesting. It's if you don't know about it, it's a sort of a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, where the main character Alyssa is a descendant of the person who inspired the story by Lewis Carroll, and she has to go back into Wonderland and fix the mistakes that Alice made while she was there. It's really interesting. I think it's 3 books. I think there's 3 books out, and maybe some short stories or just like novellas in between. But I'm excited to move on with the series because it got really interesting near the end, and I just really want to know what happens. So I gave that book a 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read a book that was somebody else's favorite book, and this is my friend Noha's favorite book, and I'm really sorry, but Noha, I really didn't like it. I don't think she watches my videos, but this is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and I know that this is like a classic and so well loved by a lot of people, but I really didn't like the main character. Like, I was so frustrated reading this the whole time. There was one line in here that I thought was interesting, literally just one, and the rest was just repetition, and I was so frustrated. The character is really misogynistic, and he's just really immature, and it just bothered me. I don't feel like he got mature throughout the whole thing. It just wasn't the book that I enjoyed. Sorry. But I'm glad that I read it because now I know what it's all about. I gave The Catcher in the Rye probably 2 out of 5 stars. So for the book that I read without putting it down was Between Shades of Grey, which I know you're thinking, how did you do that? But I was already about 3/4 of the way through when I started it, and then I just marathoned it, went all the way through to the end, and didn't put it down. And I actually have to say it was kind of hard to do. I really thought that I was going to like this book going in. It's a World War II story. It takes place in Lithuania, and the main character's name is Lena. And honestly, most of the characters in here are just really forgettable. And wartime stories generally really move me. They make me think, and they make me think about this time period and how difficult it would be to be living through this. But I had a really hard time placing myself in this story, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the author did a lot of telling rather than showing, and I just couldn't connect to her descriptions, which there weren't very many, and the character development, which was not really there for me. So, yeah, I think I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars because, I mean, there are some really interesting things that I learned about what was going on during the war in this part of the world, so that was interesting, but for the most part I didn't really enjoy the story. Next, I read 2 graphic novels. The first one is the Margaret Sanger story. This is actually not a graphic novel, it's a graphic biography, and of course it's about Margaret Sanger. She is a woman who basically invented birth control. She is an advocate for birth control throughout her lifetime. There's some really interesting facts about her in here. I don't know exactly how accurate they are, especially since it's sort of the dialogue, I don't know how true that is. So I sort of just took it with a grain of salt and learned where I could, but also wasn't sure if it was like completely historically accurate. But either way, it was really interesting. I learned about Margaret Sanger in my studies at school, and I learned a little bit more about her here as a person, so yeah, I found it pretty interesting. I think I gave it 3.5 or 4 out of 5 stars. The next graphic novel I read is Sandcastle, and this is by Frederick Peters and Pierre Oscar Levy. I was not sure what this one was about going into it. I hadn't heard anybody talk about it, but I thought it would be a really cool beach read because it looks kind of beachy. And I was very, very surprised with the subject matter of this. It is like a sci-fi, dystopian, kind of weird, fantastical thing going on here. So what it's about is there's this beach, and these families all come there, like a couple different families come around the same time, and they find that they are aging extremely quickly while on this beach, and nobody is able to leave the beach. It is weird, I'm not gonna lie, but it's really entertaining. Like, I couldn't put it down because probably could have used this one for the book you didn't put down, because I didn't. It was just really captured my attention, and I was like, what is happening? And I was very just like freaked out at the end, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Oh, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I said that. Another one of the challenges was to read a book that you really want to read, which is very vague, and I appreciate that in a readathon. I read Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, and I've been wanting to read this during the summertime for, I think I got it last fall, maybe? I'm not sure. But I've been wanting to read it for a while, and the summertime felt like the perfect time for me, so this was just a cute little contemporary. Honestly, it wasn't anything that special. It was very predictable, but it was beachy, it was fun. It also had some deeper points to it, and dealt with some intense topics, sickness. Yeah, I definitely saw the ending of this one coming, and the sort of like the big reveal of like what she did so that she needed this second chance, in my opinion, was not really that big of a deal. Like, I thought it was gonna be something like really crazy, because she makes it out like she did something horrible and ruined everybody's lives, but I didn't find that it was as crazy as she made it out to be. But I don't know, it was enjoyable. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. The last book I read during the readathon was Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I read this one because it's a really short little book, and I wanted to get as many books in as possible. So I finished this one. It was not really my favorite book. I honestly was really not a huge fan of the female character. What's her name? Nora, obviously. Her name is Nora. Okay. And I was not a huge fan of Nora. I thought Nick was really sweet. He seemed like a really cool guy. So I know that in the movie, Michael Cera plays Nick, and I was having a really hard time connecting that person with this character. I remember it working really well in the film, but that's definitely not the same person who is in the book. They seem very, very different to me. So I don't know, that was a little weird, but it was also weird because I saw the movie before I read the book, which, I was supposed to do, whatever. But it was okay, it was cute, it was quick. I didn't really agree with a lot of the things that Nora did. She just was not a character that I related to. I think she was developed well, but I didn't have a connection with her, which is fine. So I gave this one, I think, a 3.5 out of 5 stars, so. So I read a couple of books that I don't have with me right now because I either had to return them to the library or to a coworker who lent them to me, the same coworker as before. The first one on that list is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. This one I thought I was going to kind of like as much as I liked Splintered going into it, because it's sort of like a fairy tale flipped on its head, or a classic story flipped on its head. Honestly, I like this one way more than Splintered. I thought this was really cool. I was like on the edge of my seat, and I did like Splintered a lot. It's kind of weird that I'm comparing them, but it's two sort of mixed up stories in a short period of time. So, yeah, it's the Dorothy Must Die. I love the character development. I love the main character. I think she really has a good head on her shoulders. I really love the character of Dorothy, who is just so interesting, so nothing like you would think she would be. I love the play Wicked, and so it kind of makes sense that I would love this book so much. And I think I just really like this world. I like Oz more than I like Wonderland, so that's probably why I'm preferring this book, and I can't wait to find out what happens in the next book. I actually just borrowed it from that coworker yet again, and I'm going to dive into it maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I'm very excited. I gave Dorothy Must Die a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read that I don't have is actually a graphic novel, and it's Sandman Volume 6, and it's called Fables and Reflections. I liked this one an average amount, I'd say. Some of these graphic novel installations I love, some of them I hate, and this one definitely fell right in the middle for me. I think I gave it a 3.5 or maybe a 4 out of 5 stars. The last two books that I read are right here. This one is The Birthing House by, who's this by? Christopher Ransom. This one got terrible reviews on GoodReads, like 1 out of 5 most of the time. And so I was very hesitant going into it. I picked it up in a thrift store because I ran out of books to read when I was on vacation, and I was like, I need something to read. So I picked it up. I didn't know the ratings when I started it. And I really liked the book. I am so surprised that it got terrible ratings. I really liked it. Maybe it's just because I love like birth stuff, and I don't read very many horror novels, and especially having those two sort of connect. It was really interesting, and I really liked it. And a lot of the complaints were that there were like there's too much profanity or too many sex scenes, and those didn't bother me, honestly. It read like a corny horror movie, and I love those, so it was just like right up my alley. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read in physical copy is Armada by Ernest Cline. So I found this at the thrift store, and I'm really excited about it. I finished it yesterday, and it really blew my mind. It was amazing. It was so interesting and weird, and it's science fiction. It's about this alien invasion that happens that mimics this video game that the main character plays religiously. So it's really interesting. I gave this one a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I also finished listening to 2 audiobooks this month. The first one was The Martian by Andy Weir. If you don't know what it's about this man named Mark Watney who is on a mission to Mars, and his crew members think that he has passed away on Mars, and so they leave, but really he is still alive, and he has to survive on Mars with very few resources, and it's a really interesting, gripping journey, and it's also very funny. He's just snarky and hilarious, and the way he tells his story is just really entertaining. So listening to this one on audiobook was really a good, I liked it a lot. The only thing I would say about that is that there's a lot of like technical things in here where he'll go through like and discuss details about like certain amounts of oxygen, like chemical reactions, and like very mechanical stuff as well. And I think that if I had been reading it on a page, I might have just skipped over those and gotten the gist. But listening to it, you're sort of forced to hear every single detail, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So I don't know, that's if going into that, I kind of wish I had known that, but in the end I did end up enjoying it, and I would definitely recommend it. I think I gave that one a 4 out of 5. The last audiobook that I listened to is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I thought that I was going to really like this one because I really like fairy tales, and this one's sort of like a mixture of fairy tales sort of in the modern world, which sounds really interesting to me. So I really liked the characters in this story. I thought they were interesting, they were well-rounded, and I thought they were pretty, you know, they would made decisions that made sense to me. But for some reason the story didn't resonate with me so much, and I think it could have been because I was listening to it, and I just kept getting sort of distracted. The person who did the voice on the audiobook, it was really creepy, and I know that that's kind of the feeling that they were going for with this book. I think that Holly Black was going for sort of a creepy vibe, but it was super creepy, and I don't know, I didn't love it. I didn't love the voice of Severin. I don't know, it was okay. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars, because, you know, it was a good, solid story. It came together in the end, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as I had wanted to, and so 3 out of 5 stars. Okay guys, that is it for my August wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you let me know what you guys read in the month of August. The next time I film, I'll be in a new location, and I will probably be bringing you my September TBR. I can't believe it's already September, like what the heck. But I love fall, so I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!